Thanks to those joining us live and those that will be joining us here on the archive, D-Style here. You guys can look in the very bottom. There's a store if you're interested in getting the D-Style boxing T-shirt, the new ATP T-shirts. Those are actually selling, believe it or not. So thank you guys that are purchasing those. I don't think they're boxing fans. I just think they like that it says Hispanic causing panic. And I'm being joined, of course, by Lyndon, the one and the only. I forgot to say. How's it going, Lyndon?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good. Make sure you guys follow his channel, Boxing Deep Dive, here on YouTube. Same handle. You can follow him on Instagram as well. A lot to dive into here. I want to start off with Shotgun Shannon O'Connell. She had a loss to Dargan. It was a second round stoppage. The ref steps in and stops the action. And that was the end of that fight. Shotgun calls it a day and or a career, I should say. She retired in the ring. She made it very clear. I think that's the most clear I've ever heard her say that she's pretty much done. Went on record, and her focus now is to support her son, Cooper O'Connell, who's currently training in Las Vegas. A pending date for him. I'm not sure when that'll be announced, but I'm sure he'll be having a fight soon. Lyndon, your thoughts on the fight and her announcement?
Yeah, it certainly didn't go the way we thought. I mean, Shannon O'Connell was always obviously a chance to win. She's a good young fighter, and I think she's on a fight winning streak up until then. But I did speak to Shannon on Saturday, Australian time, so was that Friday night over there. But she just said, "Look, normally the music comes on." She's a very nervous fighter, by the way, Shannon. We've had to sort of talk her off a ledge a few times before she went and fought, like a lot of fighters do. I think a lot of people don't realise the anxiety that's involved in boxing. But normally, she said, when the music starts and she gets in the ring, and of course they touch gloves and all the rest of it, she switches on. But she just said, as soon as the bell rang the other night, she just had nothing there. And Chanel Dargan did what a young fighter probably should do against an older fighter, and jumped right on her. And the surprising thing to me, though, and I said to Shannon, I said, "Look, Chanel Dargan's not a big puncher." And she said, "No, she's not. But for some reason, the punches for the first time in my career," and Shannon's been hit by a lot of big punches, she said for the first time ever, the punches started to hurt. And she said, "I just knew that it was over," which is probably why you didn't see a lot of protesting at the stoppage. But she just said, "Look, it's come." She did throw Cooper under the bus a little bit, though, by saying he's going to be the next Terence Crawford, so he's got a little bit to live up to. But no, I think she's looking forward to just getting behind him, and as you said, there is a fight announcement coming very, very soon. So he's a talent, and looking forward to him sort of carrying on the shotgun name, or the little shotgun, I think he calls himself. So.
Yeah. Well, look, my mom thinks I'm the most handsome person in the world, so moms will be moms, right? So we can't really deduct too many points from her for saying that. But I will say, though, I've been following Shotgun not as long. I haven't known her as long as you have, for example. It's been 4 years. It's quite a while, obviously, but that's how long I've known Shannon O'Connell. What I will say is I've never, and I mean this when I say this, I have never, and this is specifically on Instagram for some reason, but I've never had so many strangers, like people I don't know that I've never heard of before, message me about a fighter ever. Like, it's never happened. Like, they don't message me about Canelo that much, and they know I'm a big Canelo fan. They don't nothing. But when it's Shotgun Shannon O'Connell, if I share a story, if I make a post, I've interviewed her exclusively a lot of times, and I'll share the content. I'll get people message me, and a lot of it good. A lot of it's go Shotgun and stuff like that, right? A lot of it not so good, right? And look, people are free to feel however they want. I still remember the first time I was going to interview her, I didn't even know her. And I was getting messages from people telling me, don't interview her. She's a horrible person. You don't want nothing to do with her. And I'm just like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, what? First of all, I'm interviewing a fighter. Like, it's not, I'm not here, like, I'm not looking for the next Nobel Peace Prize winner anyway. So it is what it is. And it's a good thing I just don't listen to people, especially strangers that I don't know. This wasn't like a friend of mine being like, "Hey, watch out with that person" or something like that. But um, I never listen to what people tell me about somebody. I get to know them myself, and I think that should be a rule of thumb for everybody. And I've known her now for 4 years. I've obviously been, an open supporter of hers. She had the D style logo on her trunks his last fight, and it was an honor for her to have that and all that. So things obviously didn't go her way, but what I will say is, she already said, right, and she didn't feel like she was ready to go, and she just didn't feel it anymore, and that happens.
Mm.
Well, one of my favorite fighters of all time, Eric Morales, it kind of happened that way. He just kind of got old overnight, and
Mm.
that's just the way it goes sometimes. And I will say that every time she fought, at least in the 4 years that I've been quote unquote covering her career, her fights were always the most talked about fight, good or bad, of
Mm.
every event. A lot of people had opinions about Shotgun Shannon O'Connell, like whether it was good or bad, right? It was never in between though. Like there was never like a she's alright. It's always like she's the most horrible person in the world, or I love her to death, right? It's always one or the other. And I always saw a lot of people like they had an opinion though. They had something to say, like at the end of the day. And there's a lot of fighters that fight and no one even knows they're fighting that weekend, right?
Mm.
When she fought, you knew she was fighting. And whether it was a Jazzy Parr fight, even this fight, I feel like on social media anyway, got more attention than all the other fights. And right now, Dargan is getting a lot of credit for a win, rightfully so. And
Yeah.
hopefully she uses it to launch, whatever's next for her career. And what I will say is that I think it's a very underrated career. Like when you really do a deep dive, and not to, pun intended, when you do a deep dive on her career, when you really look at it, she's fought in 6 continents. She fought against Choi, okay, for the featherweight championship. That fight could have gone either way. The hometown judges gave it a Choi. It is what it is. She fought in Argentina against Okuna in Okuna's prime. That was a really good fighter, and that was a great fight, by the way. Both those fights were great, by the way. I felt that was a really close fight as well. She beat Trinica Johnson in a fight that should have been for the world title, but for politics, it wasn't. I think that is a massive win. As we know, Trinica's gone on to do bigger, better things now, but it tells you the quality of fighters that she was fighting. And unfortunately, she did fight in a time where women's boxing was not getting a lot of attention, especially not in Australia. So, and she has been in a lot of wars, and I'm sure you've seen some of those up close and personal yourself, Lyndon. And this is a fighter that it's not just the amount of fights, it's not just the age, which is already a lot. It's just a fighter that's given her heart and soul and everything she has to the sport. And she's been in there with a lot of great fighters, and that I think it's a very, very underrated career, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's definitely been a bit of a polarizing figure, definitely here in Australia. And she is probably one of those fighters or people, I suppose, that you can either like or dislike. But the one thing I think the people that are supporters of her love about her, that she's just, what you see is what you get. She's had a pretty hard upbringing, a pretty hard life, and she sort of portrays that in the ring. It's all or nothing for her. And she's outspoken. She'll tell you exactly what she thinks. She's not scared to have her say. And that's probably what the people that don't like her dislike about her, is that she doesn't sit back and shut up and play the company line, or say the company line like a lot of other fighters do. So she's been that way. But look, I think even the ones that don't like her as maybe as a person have to respect her as a fighter, because look, over the journey, you just went through her resume then. And it's probably been a thing that's gone against her in her career, is that she's actually just accepted whoever, whenever, wherever it might be. She'll just fight anybody. So she hasn't been carefully sort of guided through her career like some of these other fighters have. And more importantly, she's just never really had the luck. Now, you mentioned there she beat Shanika Johnson. And with all due respect to Shanika, I've promoted Shanika. I promoted her first 8 or 9 fights. And so I've got a lot of respect for Shanika. But she's got to perform in the ring. But look at the difference between the two. You know, you had Shanika, who just almost lucked out on the MVP card last year, getting who was it? The woman she fought. Yeah, and I mean in her 40s, you know, and she had to get the job done in the ring. Don't get me wrong, but she beat her great opponent at the right time on excuse me, on the right platform, and she won the titles. And good luck to her. She got an element of luck, but then she actually ran with that and won the fight in the ring. So best of luck to her and good on her. But Shannon never really had that chance. Whenever she got her opportunity, it was a peak fighter at the peak time, probably in the hometown or home country. And she just never had that break that a lot of other fighters have had. Ebony Bridges as well. I mean, she got a world title fight in her 4th or 5th fight or whatever it might have been, and had some really soft wins. Ebony Bridges has. So Sky Nicholson's the same. She took her chances obviously as well, but Shannon just for whatever reason never had that chance, and maybe it had to do with the backing at the time. I mean, we did our best to sort of back her along, but we're always the B side, always the opponent. So it was always tough. And I just wonder what Shannon could have done if MVP was around 10 years ago or 15 years ago, what she could have done, because she would have fit the bill perfectly as far as being marketable. She's always in a great fight. She's a very good personality and very, very marketable. So I'm sure she would have been top of the list as far as the attractiveness of MVP goes, and that's probably why Desi Robinson's been signed up and numerous others. But I mean, I think back to the first fight I actually attended of Shannon's live. I think I've mentioned this before. It was in Canada. It was on an Adonis Steven card in Toronto, Canada, and she come in and she fought Sandy Zagoras on the undercard. Really, really tough girl.
Big girl,
And Shannon, she got knocked down in the first round. It looked like it was all over. She got back up. She dropped Zagoras, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round. She had a cut down the middle of her face, 2 swollen eyes, and she just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. She ended up losing a decision, but she would just not give in. And she's just that type of fighter. And so I've got all the respect in the world for Shannon. As a fighter, I just think, and as a person in her personal life as well, as I said, she's done it tough. But just the old-fashioned type of fighter who just worked her way up. I just really would have loved her to get the Cinderella story in the end and win a world title. But boxing, as we know, it's not all fairy tales. You've a lot of hard luck stories out there, but she'll still go down as one of the pioneers of female boxing and an all-time great for sure.
And something that doesn't get said a lot, and it's a lot of people don't really, I'm not saying they don't know about it, but there's not a lot of emphasis on it because she didn't go out of her way to let everybody know, right? Like she did have shoulder replacement surgery, right? And everyone, me, probably you too, just thought it was over. Like
I did.
You don't come back from shoulder replacement surgery. Just don't. I don't know of another fight. I could be wrong, but if there is, it's probably few and far between that have come back from an injury like that. And for her to come back from that injury was astonishing in itself. It's almost a miracle that she even was able to fight again. For her to come back from a surgery like that and beat a young up-and-comer like Jazzy Parr in itself is something very... Just to compete with somebody like that is very impressive, given that the seriousness of that, of that injury. And it never really... What surprised me, it never got... the surgeon must have done a really good job because I don't think she at least never mentioned that she had issues with her shoulder again after that. And it allowed her to kind of get a little bit of a last run here. But I do think I think she's more at peace now, right? That she did it, right? It's kind of like that Garth Brooks song, The Dance. I'm glad I didn't know how it all would end, because that's really what it's about. And I think she's more at peace now. I think knowing there's not going to be that lingering what if and I should have tried it, or she's not going to have to worry about that now. Like she knows, you know what? I came back. I give it my best. And if people want to consider it some type of passing of the torch to Dargan, they can. But at the very least, she went out against a fighter who's Dargan looks honestly like one of the nicest people in boxing. Like it's she's a very likable person. So we'll see what she does with that. But as far as Shannon O'Connell goes, I guess as she mentioned in that interview, the O'Connell name is going nowhere, and Mom really feels that she's got the next Terrence Crawford. So there you go. No pressure, Cooper.
I think she said she rang him and said, oh, I'm really sorry. I've just said, and he just laughed it off. He's a pretty laid back sort of kid, so he just laughed it off. But I think it was just a spur of the moment thing. But yeah, no, I think he's going to be good. Not quite sure he'll be Terrence Crawford, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? But yeah. And one more thing I want to say, and you touched a lot on it. A lot of what it's not just her, by the way. A lot of female fighters, like 10 years ago and past that, were honestly just in the dark. Even the great ones now, like you'll see Serrano talk about it. Like nobody gave a shit what I was doing. Like 7 years ago, nobody knew what I was doing. Like nobody. A lot of people don't even know this, man. Most of the sanctioning bodies weren't even recognizing women's boxing. The women were fighting for I think it's the WIB, or I forget what it's called.
WIBA, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Serrano actually post about that belt and say that's one of the first belts she won. And people don't realize that was actually one of the main world titles at the time, because the main sanctioning bodies were not recognizing women's boxing. They weren't sanctioning it. And so it's just interesting how everything's kind of evolved, and she is a pioneer, and she helped build something. And look, when I went to Colorado like a year and change ago to watch Cooper at the World Championships, I was able to see a lot of these young girls that really look up to Shannon, and and talk to her. And I went to the gym. She was in the corner giving them advice, and just to see a lot of these young amateurs look up to her and stuff like that. And I don't know, other than supporting Cooper, I don't know what is left for Shannon in terms of boxing, but I do think she could be a boxing coach for the Australian team or something like that, to be honest with you, but because she has a lot of experience. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, the other thing too is I've got, there's a fair bit happening with the promotional companies over here. I think she'd be great as working with No Limit or a Matchroom even, who are about to come into Australia. And you're right, she could be a trainer, she could be a matchmaker, she could be a lot of different things. And she could be a commentator as well on the pay-per-views and all that as well. So there's a lot of things she could do, because she's so experienced in boxing and being that pioneer and just being there and lived the whole life of what it's like to be not just a boxer, but a female boxer in the current climate. So no, I think there's a lot of different things she could do, and I hope that either the networks or the gyms or the Australian Boxing Association, whatever it might be, really utilize her, because she's got so much to offer. That's for sure.
100%. Shout out to the Zufa Roo, man. I think that's
Zufa
Carl,
Roo.
by the way. I think Carl, he's really feeling like that Zufa love. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. But Shotgun had a great career. Good on her, absolutely. And look, I see her right now. She's getting a lot of love. It was just the complete opposite of what happened a couple of years ago, by the way. So I think that is a good thing. And I think, and one more thing, and I think I told you this in a message. Shout out to Wanderer Promotions, because too many times I see promotional companies like they treat these fighters like they're done with their fight, they kick them out of the ring. All right, next fight. Like they don't give a shit. They don't give them the floor. No knock on No Limit or whatever. It kind of is a knock, but I have a feeling that this fight was on No Limit. That there's no post-fight speech by Shannon O'Connell. There's none of that. They probably don't even interview Dargan, to be honest. He just move on. Yep. And I think to give obviously Dargan her moment to have her interview, which they should, right? She won the fight, and to give Shannon O'Connell the floor, I think was very classy of them, and something that every fighter, honestly, especially someone who's given so much to the sport, deserves.
Yeah.
Like giving the mic. By the way, she does, like, did you see her like take the mic and she cut like a promo, like, you know what I mean? Like she just went all out. So maybe she should
Smart
do some
operator.
commentary. That's right. Give me the mic. I got something to say. Like, all right. Okay, cool. All right. So let's go ahead and to keep it Australian here, next week or yeah,
This
a
week.
week from now. A
Mm.
week from now, because I'm not even going to do a show next week because the Zufa's on, so it's kind of putting a thing over me on Sundays. But Jai Opetia will be making a Zufa debut. Look, they're smart with the promoting right now. They really are. They have Jai over there in that. You were educating me backstage, the rugby league over there in Raider Stadium.
Rugby league. Yep.
And apparently it's different than regular rugby, but okay.
It is totally different.
And I think that's smart. Like I always wondered, like when Timzu was in Australia, and I was like, PBC, what are you doing? Like to do the fight that weekend? Like what are we doing here? So they actually picked a very smart weekend to have Jai Opetia fight over there. Now I think it's still going to be in the Apex. I think they should have done like the Hard Rock or something instead.
Yeah.
But whatever. But aside from it being in the Apex, he's going to be fighting. What's his name again? Glanton.
Is it Brendan Glanton? I think his name is
Glanton. And who is a top 15 cruiserweight? This is not some like. I saw people criticizing Zufa for this opponent, but is it any better than Jai's last two opponents? I mean, it is what it is. But and he'll probably be on a big ring card after this, and I'm sure he wants to get on one of those ASAP. So he'll probably try to make short work of this fight. Are you looking forward to this, Lyndon? What's your curiosity here as we get close to this debut of Jai Opetia for the Zufa belt, by the way?
Yeah, I love it, and yeah, I think it's fantastic for Jai, and this is what he's been searching for the last few years. And his promoters, Tasman Fighters, have done a great job with what they've had. The Eddie Hearn sort of alignment didn't really work out for them. The zone thing didn't really work out for them. So now they've switched obviously to Zufa and Paramount and everything like that. So I think it's a great move. I think, like you said, I think it's a great time of the year to do it with all the tens of thousands of Aussies that are in Vegas at the moment for the rugby league over there. And it is different, by the way. Look, I'm not really a rugby league follower, but it is a lot different to rugby union, which is the one that you're probably familiar with over there. But look, there's a massive contingent of Australians over there for that tournament. Actually, it's not a tournament. I think it's just a fixture at the Raiders Stadium there. So it's going to be massive. And I saw at Fremont Street the other day that Jai was there and all the Aussies were there cheering him on. So, and I think the Zufa have been trying to promote his brand, I suppose, in a lot of what they're doing. So I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited for Jai because this is what he's been waiting for. This is what he's been toiling away in the background for 2 or 3 years. And we all know he's been vocal about having a unification fight. And supposedly he's going to get that this year. But I'm just really happy that he's going to be fighting for the first ever Zufa belt. I'm with you. I don't like the fact it's in the garage at the Apex Stadium, whatever hell it is down there. I don't like that, but it is what it is. And I think this is just a prelude to what's going to be next, which could be a massive fight for him. And I mean, I'm just hoping at some stage that David Benavidez is the guy that he fights. So I think that is one of the best fights to be made in boxing. I know he's got to get past Zerto first, but I think Jai versus David Benavidez is one of the top sort of 3 or 4 fights that can be made in boxing at the moment. So I'm really happy for him. I'm happy for the whole organisation, Mick Francis, Tasman Fighters, and everyone else who are finally on the big stage. And now it's up to him. Got to deliver. Brenton Glenn, actually, he fought Billum Smith, I think, a year or 2 ago, but was sort of dominated by Billum Smith. So I'm expecting Jai to win pretty comfortably. But again, I think it's more of a showcase more than anything. And I think the big test will come sort of later in the year.
Yeah, look, they have dates they need to fulfill. They put Jai on that date. That's who they found. You know what I mean? So that's the guy that stepped up. And look, there's a lot of criticism that I'm hearing, but I think there's a lot of, like, where were these people so concerned about Jai like just a couple of months ago? So I keep hearing, oh no, he can't get the fights now because he's with Zufa, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he wasn't getting the fight with Zurdo, or Benavidez was in a rush to fight him like before he signed with Zufa, right? They were doing everything but fight him. Like Zurdo was saying, nobody knows who he is. Like sure, like nobody knows who he is, Zurdo, right? He hasn't fought anybody. Who is he? Who is this guy? And then you have Eddie Hearn publicly telling everybody they're losing money on Jai. Like what? Like what good does that do exactly?
Yeah.
Like you know, like what? Like why even say that? Like what?
Yeah.
Is it true? Is it not? I don't know. But why say that for? Like I was bleeding money with Jai. Like what are you doing? So like these are the people that, and then the IBF who stripped him. He wanted back, but they should never have stripped him of the IBF title. So when I keep hearing, oh, they might strip him now that he's with Zufa, well, they have already stripped him, right? And now he has a backing, and you know what? Like Zufa, what I want everybody to understand is they have the backing of the Saudis, which are the ones with the money. So that's where the money's coming in for all these promoters. So when Benavidez comes out and he says, well, I don't know if we can make the fight happen because he's with Zufa, right? He's going to be on those ring cards. So like you could fight him on those ring cards. Like Conor Benn just signed with Zufa. He's going to be on a ring card, right?
Yep.
They've already come out and said they're going to allow Jai to unify. So those are made up roadblocks at the end of the day. So for me, I am happy to see Jai get some actual promotion behind him. I'm seeing good strategy in terms of taking advantage of the fact there's a lot of Australians in Las Vegas right now. I wish they would have complemented that with an actual venue that could fit more people, but it's we can't have everything, right? But I think this was the perfect signing for Zufa, and if they want to establish we have the best fighters, at least at cruiserweight, they do, as of right now. And they have the best cruiserweight in the world. And I think they know that. I think they will move accordingly. And I think first opportunity Dana White and Zufa get, yes, they're going to say, yes, let's put Jai in there with Zurdo or Benavidez or anybody else promoted by Matchroom or anyone. So we could show them that our guy is the guy. And I think they're going to be very confident with their guy. So, and Jai's that guy. So,
well, we'll see. We'll see. This is his opportunity, isn't it?
100%. Now it's been a little. I understand it's been a little rocky, with big Australian names fighting in Las Vegas, but I think Jai's got it though. I think he should. He'll be all right with this one, I think.
Well, no Australians ever won in Vegas, have they? I don't think. I think Jeff Fennick came the closest with a draw.
You mean males, right? Like male fighters?
Males. Sorry, males.
I'm only saying I know Sky won a fight.
Sky, yeah.
I don't know of any other female, by the way, that won in Las Vegas. But has anyone no Australian fighters ever?
No males, no. Jeff Fennick drew with Azuma and Nelson back in the day, but no, it hasn't been a very happy hunting ground for the Aussies over there. We've never won, apparently. Jai's going to change it this week, hopefully.
Unless it's like a curse, you know what I mean? Unless it's like some, I don't know. Nah, I think he got it. He's got it. They picked the perfect guy to break this curse, I think. And so we'll see how that goes. That's going to be next Sunday here, Monday in Australia. So what time is it over there? Is it like in the morning?
It'll be, so it'll probably be on around lunchtime here. It's currently about 10:35 a.m. So if it's on at about 8 p.m. over there, I'm assuming it's going to be about 11 or 12 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it'll be a good time. Look, it's not a great time, obviously, because people are at work, but they always find a way. The fight fans will find a way to watch it. They do it with the Super Bowl every year. It's always on a Monday over here. So I'm sure they'll watch it. There's a lot of interest in the fight. So, I think it'll be very well viewed over here. And obviously it's no drama, sort of getting it now with being on Paramount Plus. There's no pay-per-views and all this sort of stuff. So it's going to be great.
I am seeing, by the way, more visibility. Now, this is anecdotal, just from what I see. on social media, but since he signed with Zufa, I have seen more visibility about Jai
Mm,
in the Australian media and socials. I have.
mm.
So I think that's a good thing. Is are you expecting some people to show up and watch that fight at your pub or
I doubt it. No. Well,
no?
we'll have it on, of course, but I doubt it. No. I mean, most people probably just watch it on their phones or at home. Oh, that's a good question, actually. I haven't really
So
even contemplated that being a
I guess the reason
Monday
I'm
sort of
asking
morning.
because if it was Tim, I'm sure more people would show up, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just because of the name. So I guess they have some work to do in terms of bringing up his profile.
Yeah, we had his last fight on at the pub, and pretty much no one turned up for it. Now it was free; it was on Stan Sports that we had anyway, but yeah, but pretty much no one turned up, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe 3 or 4 people, I can't remember. So that goes to show how far he has to go, because when there's a Tim Zoo or an Akita Zoo fight, we might have up to 40 or 50 people sort of in our little room out the back, all enjoying the fight. So we had more turn up for the Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson fight than we had for Jai. So he's got a little bit of work to do, but he'll be fine. I think what's happening with this, by the way, has really helped his profile a lot. For the first time over here, he's been headline news as the first Zufa signing and all this sort of stuff. So it's really helped. It's a very, very good strategic move from Jai and his camp as far as his profile goes. He's now going to make history. Hopefully, he's the first Zufa champion. They've really gone hard with him as far as the promotion of his brand over there and all the telecasts that they've got over there. So I think it's a really smart move from his team and probably also Zufa as well. To get someone like him involved, and now Connor Ben, and as I said, the rest is up to Jai whether he can deliver.
Yeah, one of those 3-4 people just were gonna show up anyway, and just happened to be a Jai fight, But
yeah,
if you get one person that comes in, I'm here to watch Jai. That is 100% more people, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But it is on a Monday, but hey, it's on Paramount. It's accessible. Hopefully, more people watch it. So we'll see how that goes. Mars saying he thinks Zurdo is going to take David 12-0. I doubt that. But hey, you believe in your Zurdochenko? Is that his nickname now? I don't know. But I don't know about that one. All right. I don't know who Veronica is, by the way. Like I don't know who that dude's talking about, but we're not even talking about a Veronica, but okay. All right. With that said, I don't know what's going on right there. But let's talk about Usyk.
Okay. Yep.
Look, did you just see the WBC is like bipolar or something? I don't know if you've seen. First they said it's not going to be for the WBC belt, and then they just came out a couple minutes, like an hour ago, saying, you know what, we got together with the board of governors and we voted that it's only right. And they give this long explanation on social media, just what are we doing? How in the world is this for a world title? How what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the WBC, I mean, the virtual signaling they always do about, geez, we're such great people, they pat themselves on the back and we're doing this for boxing and we're doing that for boxing and we're trying to uphold the integrity of boxing and the green belt and all this sort of stuff. And they do this. I would have liked to have heard, and I did see it was going to be for the belt, then it wasn't going to be for the belt, and now it is going to be for the belt again. I'd like to see Mauricio Sullivan stand up and actually explain how and why this kickboxer is in any way eligible to fight for this supposedly the best belt and most prestigious belt in our sport. I'd like to hear what he has to say, because he's quick to explain why they should be paying all this money in sanctioning fees and all the rest of it and the good they do for boxing. I want him to get up there and actually tell us boxing fans, the hardcore boxing fans out there, how he can, and with a straight face, by the way, say this is a legitimate matchup. And what's his name, Rico or whatever, Verhoeven or whatever. Yeah. I'd like him to say how he has, or how he's worthy and is deserving of a shot at the world heavyweight title. That's what I would like him to say, and not just Mauricio Sullivan with the WBC. I want Alexander Usyk to actually, or his team, to get up and explain why they didn't want the Wardley fight, the Wilder fight, whatever happened to that. They don't want to fight Caballero or Otama, one of those guys, and they think this guy is more deserving than those guys. So I've got a lot of blame to be put on Alexander Usyk and his team as well for even considering this fight. It is ridiculous and a slap in the face to the sport and us fans.
Well, this is the statement released a couple hours ago after consideration of the WBC Board of Governors. Well, that totally makes it, you know what I mean?
The Board of Governors.
Yeah,
Okay.
It has ruled in favor of sanctioning WBC World Heavyweight Champion Alexander Usyk's voluntary title defense against legendary kickboxing champion Rico Verhoeven at its 63rd annual convention in Bangkok, Thailand. The WBC granted champion Usyk a voluntary defense. So there you go.
A voluntary defense. Does it now? It's a voluntary defense, but does it matter that he's not even rated? So how is it a voluntary defense?
Well,
I know they were going to say it was a special event. Was the first thing they were going to support the fight but not sanction it. Now it is a voluntary defense against an unrated.
They're saying. Yeah, a petition to sanction the fight, which doesn't explain anything. The problem I have with the WBC, right, is that they really don't explain, like, or Mauricio, like, who is the WBC, we're honest, he never really explains, Lyndon, anything. Like, I'll give you an example. I actually think Chris Mannix did a really good interview with him. I don't know if you had a chance to check it out.
No.
I actually think Mannix, you know, it wasn't perfect, but I do think he pushed him enough, and Mauricio got really uncomfortable. He does that thing where he fixes a suit and squints his eyes, and, you know, when he gets questioned he doesn't like. But Mannix just flat out just asked him, can you explain these welterweight rankings? Pacquiao's was coming off a loss 4 years ago. You had him ranked in the top 5. Conor Ben's ranked number 1. He hasn't fought in divisions in 2022. Can you explain these divisions to us, or these rankings? And Mauricio doesn't actually explain it. What Mauricio does instead is deflect and explain a process, right? He starts talking about how the WBC has offices all over the world and all these experienced people that do evaluations of all the fighters. They all get together and they have a meeting, and then every second week of the month, the Board of Governors decides how the rankings all play out, and he explains the process. That's all he does. He doesn't actually explain, because you cannot defend the indefensible. Like, you just can't do it. And in this case, all he's going to say is, well, he petitioned, we follow the rules, and he's going to say that there's a rule in the WBC book, the rules that he wrote, by the way. I mean, they're your rules, right, which he doesn't follow all the time. But their rule says in order to fight for a title, you got to be ranked in the top 15, if I'm not mistaken, which is already too high in my opinion. It should be a top 5 at least, but okay, fine. This dude's not ranked. He's had one professional boxing fight. He's a really good kickboxer. Well, I don't know about you, Linda, but I think that's a different sport. I don't think it's the same sport.
Well, I think Mauricio Sullivan should have been a politician, by the way, because he just talks in circles and goes round and round and round. Doesn't actually answer the question. He might speak for 5 minutes, but doesn't actually go anywhere near answering the question. So he should go into politics, Mauricio Sullivan. But look, I don't know. I mean, I see the Lance there. See the fine print. WBC rules can be manipulated by the WBC at any time. Well, that is probably the most sort of prevalent rule they have. It's underlined in bold in capital letters, because they can pretty much do what they want. Happened with Pacquiao. All of a sudden, it's the legend rule or whatever it was. That, you know, and now we've got. Yeah.
It's every rule, kid you not, at the end says at the discretion of the WBC.
Yeah. And now it's the same thing they're talking about with Mayweather and Pacquiao. You know, there might be some. What's the some ruling that Mayweather's got, because he had some belt. It's the
champion emeritus. Yeah.
Emeritus, whatever that is. So pretty much what he's saying is, well, we can just do whatever we want, and we'll spin it whichever way we want. And you boxing fans will just accept it and continue to bow down to the mighty WBC. That's what he's sort of saying. But as I said, like this whole thing with the ratings and everything, or the statement they just put out, what's that there? The board of governors. Yeah.
This is the leaked tweet, group text, making the Usyk fight WBC title. We didn't vote. Too late. What? Unanimous. History. Already tweeted. There you go.
Yeah. Oh,
It seems like that's how he does it, right? I mean, it's supposed to be a parody, but am I that far off? I mean, probably not.
It's ridiculous. And look, again, I mean, we forgive a lot of the stuff they do, but in this case, I understand they did mention the Tyson Fury and the Ngannou fight where it was a special event and all that sort of stuff with the support of the WBC. But in this instance here, I get that's a special event, but where is the mandatory? Where is the voluntary? Where are all these defenses that now going to have to happen?
Right.
Because of Usyk won't fight till the end of the year. So what happens with the other organizations with their belts? We haven't really heard from them. So, but again, I'd just like Mauricio Sulaiman I'd like someone to ask him the question, and I know he's going to just go around in circles as he does, but say, how does this constitute a sanctioned world title fight? How can you justify a guy that's fought as a boxer once 12 years ago and have him fight for the most prestigious belt in the most prestigious division in boxing? How can you justify it? And I'd just like to see the spin. It'd be almost entertaining to see how he just goes around and puts his little, he's a wordsmith, isn't he? How he can justify it. That's what I want to hear, because it'll be entertaining just to hear him sort of just mumble and carry on for 5 minutes trying to explain it.
The thing is, you're being negative at the moment. You attack me and the WBC. He'll say something like that. He always says when he calls it. He really does act like a politician. He calls it ridiculous. He attacks the question. He attacks the character of the person. Doesn't answer the question, right? And then he just proceeds to explain the process, not address the actual question. So what he'll tell you is it's a ridiculous question, that you're just being negative, that Usyk has been a great champion. Like he'll make it about like how you're attacking Usyk apparently, and then he'll say that this is the ruling because he petitioned and the board of governors voted on it, and the board of governors are upstanding people from all over the world, from Bangkok to Tennessee to Mexico City to that's all he does every single time. It never fails. So I have a theory as to why this happened though, because look, behind the scenes, and sometimes not so behind the scenes, there really is like a cold war going on with these sanctioning bodies, the legacy promoters, and like the TKO Saudi side. There's a lot of lawsuits, which we'll touch on in a little bit, by the way. I'm interested in your thoughts on that, but I believe because it was going to be for the WBC title, and then they said never mind, it's going to be just a special event. I think Mauricio was told if it's a special event, you're not going to collect a sanctioning fee, right?
Good call. Yep.
And I think they said, oh, actually, I just talked to the board of governors, and they said that and that's what that is. And why is this allowed? Because there's Saudi money behind it. It's going to be in Egypt. I'm sure, like, it would have been great if he was fighting Caballero or somebody in front of the pyramids of Egypt. Don't get me wrong, but like, I mean, it is what it is. But I think that's what it is. I think he was told, look, if you want to put a sanctioning fee, it's gonna have to be for the title. If not, you're not gonna collect anything. I think that's what happened, to be honest with you. Now, one thing I will say though is, look, Usyk has been an outstanding champion. He literally went on the road against every champion he fought and beat them all. Like from Russia to the UK, you name it. Had to sign rematch clauses and had to beat these guys twice, from Joshua to Fury. It's not easy to beat, like to go 4-0 against Joshua and Fury is extremely impressive. 6-0 if you count the ball.
Yeah.
And does he like deserve a gimme? Yes. Should the title be on the line? Absolutely not. Like this should just be an exhibition, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm with you. He deserves a gimme, but that's what I thought Wilder was going to be. And if he really wants a Wilder to a defense to satisfy, or a soft defense, looking at the ratings now, you got Derek Chisora could afford him again. I know it's a very, very soft one, but you've got him. You've got
Sure.
Wilder, Lawrence Okoli. Probably not so much Moses Otoma. I'd probably stay away from him at the moment. But he's got numerous amounts of fighters he could have fought for a soft opponent. So why is he's again slapped us in the face as far as boxing fans go, as far as fighting this guy who is, and I said on one of my videos, I said this guy could be the Muhammad Ali of kickboxing. Still doesn't make it right. It's as simple as that. No matter how you twist and turn it and spin it, whatever it might be, it is still ridiculous, and it just cannot be justified no matter how you go about it.
I mean, this is like, I'll go with sports that you're familiar with, right? I'm not that familiar with the sports, but at the end of the day, sports are different, right? It's kind of like saying, hey, this year, the Australian Football Championship is going to be between the reigning Australian Football Champions and the rugby league team. Like, they're just going to like, what? It's not even the same sport. Oh, we're gonna do. They're a really good rugby league team, by the way, right? They're a legend. They could be a legendary team for all we know, but it's not the same sport. What are we doing? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
You're right, and yeah, you're 100% right. And it could even be a little along the lines of both of our sports. Could be the world champions of baseball playing the world champions of cricket. You know, like it's right. Well, the cricket world champions have deserved it because they've won the world title, so they deserve a shot at our world champions in baseball. It just doesn't make sense, and you cannot justify it.
And how is this fair, by the way? Like, if you the sanctioning bodies are supposed to look out for the up and coming guys, right? That's their role. Their role is to, hey, this guy becomes a mandatory. I don't care if he's not a big name, he doesn't have a big promoter. We're going to mandate you to fight them. That's their role. That's the whole point of the sanctioning bodies, right? Forget about don't forget about them, but look at how are these other fighters that have been working their way up the rankings supposed to feel while they're paying sanctioning fees, by the way, right? And all these eliminators and interim belts. How are they supposed to feel about this dude just walking in and getting a WBC title shot? Just get without, like, what are we doing?
Well, you're right. It's supposed to be the champion, and then we have all the eligible contenders underneath who fight amongst themselves to get up to the point of challenging the champion. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to go, oh, we'll sanction someone that's not even in our ratings just to come in there and fight the champions. That promoters do that because if it makes money, it makes sense, as they say. But the sanctioning body's position in this, especially in this instance, would be, hey, promoters, you do whatever you want, but this guy's not ranked in our top 15, so he's ineligible. If you want to fight him and make money and all that sort of stuff, that's great, but it won't be for our belt, and we're going to strip him and get is it Lawrence Okoli and Moses Otama to fight for the vacant belt. That's what they should be saying. Not, oh, how good's this and Verhoeven's deserves his chance. It's ridiculous.
He's like you said, right? He could be the Muhammad Ali of kickboxing for all we know. But well, what are we even doing? And let's say he gets lucky and lands a shot and knocks out Usyk. Now the WBC world champion is a guy that's 2-0. Like, do you not even understand how stupid that is? Like, what in the world are we doing, right? But it's not here nor there. The golden rule: who holds the gold gets to make the rules, and that's Mauricio's favorite line, by the way. The rules say this. Like, he talks about the rules like as if they're these third-party rules that he's just abiding by, as if he's not the one that writes them, right? They're your rules, bro. Yeah, like, you change the rules. You wrote the rules. Like, what do you mean? I'm just following the rules. Like, what? Yeah. Well, you could change the rule whenever you want, and all you got to do is agree to have the Board of Governors agree with you. Like, what? Okay, whatever.
What rule would there be, though, that says they can sanction a guy that's had one fight 12 years ago to fight for the heavyweight championship or any championship? Where's the rule that says that? I understand the special events thing where they might allow a champion to have a special event, but it's not for the belt. I'd like to see the rule that says we can let someone that's had one professional fight for a world title without being ranked.
I think the rule is the discretion of WBC. I think
that's the rule, exactly, and they can do whatever they want with that rule. Wow, the unwritten rule down there is that, well, we'll just do whatever we want, and you can just shut up.
This is absolutely like it's like when he was talking about Shakur Stevenson. He wanted to charge Shakur Stevenson a
Mm.
sanctioning fee for a
For
fight
not
that had
fighting for
nothing.
the belt.
It wasn't even the WBC title. Like he was charging more than the WBO, who was their belt was actually on the line.
Mm.
This
Yep.
this is, and then he's calling, according to one of Shakur's people, he's calling Shakur's manager and asking him, um, "Does Crawford have something to do with this? Did Crawford talk to Shakur? Like what?
Mm.
What are we doing? Like what's going on here?" But um, you don't allow Shakur Stevenson to go fight Teofimo Lopez and strip him unless he gives you a sanctioning fee, right? But you're going to allow Usyk to go fight this kickboxer.
Good point. Yeah.
Like, it's just the inconsistencies are unbelievable to me. They just are. So, discretion of the WBC. But man, so by the way, he's kicking himself that the judges didn't give Pacquiao that win against Barrios, right?
I bet.
You,
Yeah.
he's kicking it because they're about to fight Pacquiao and Mayweather, and
Mm.
he wants that sanctioning fee,
Yeah.
right?
What is the percentage these days?
Well,
Is
there's
it
a cap,
3% or
so
something?
it
Yeah.
is 3%, but
Oh, it's
there's a
capped.
cap.
That's right. Yeah,
It's
that's
capped.
right.
I think 300,000 is the cap.
Yeah.
So after
Yeah.
that, that's it, right?
Mm.
But so let's talk about one of my favorite fighters, Emmanuel Navarrete, Sugar Nunez. Great fight. Look, it was a really good fight, but to me anyway, it looked very one sided. I'm not taking anything away from Sugar Nunez. I mean, he brought it. He had his moments, but I just think this is the best I see Navarrete in a long time.
Mm.
He looked in better shape than he looked in the fight posters. I'll say that. Apparently, he got a nutritionist now and a strength and conditioning coach. And Nunez, unfortunately, was the guy that had to fight him when he got all that. And I'm going to tell you right now, Lyndon, I think he's the best 130-pound fighter in the world. Best super featherweight in the world. I don't think Shocky Foster beats him. Although that's probably his best fight. But how do you even prepare for a guy like Emmanuel Navarrete? Like, how do you even? I don't even know. He did a little better this time, but usually I see him like crossing his feet, both feet off the the mat, throwing sideways uppercuts, leading with uppercuts. I remember when I interviewed Valdez, he said he still doesn't understand how Navarrete was hitting him with some of those punches. Like he said, he would start a punch from over there, and I'm like, well, there's no way he's going to hit me with that. And then he would hit him with it. And he couldn't get the timing down. It was just so like erratic and so unorthodox. And I have no idea how you even prepare for a guy like that. You almost have to hope he comes in out of shape and takes you lightly and all that. But I thought he looked really good in this fight. And Top Rank may not have a network deal right now, but their fighters are whooping everybody right now, even without a network. And but
Yeah, geez, he looked good, didn't he? I'm with you. I would hate to fight him because he's a big guy for 130 as well, isn't he? He looks so much bigger than Nunez yesterday, but he's just so unorthodox, so awkward. He would be a nightmare to fight because he doesn't do anything well at all, but he does everything okay. But he's just and I think what it is, and what you said about Oscar Valdez then about not being able to anticipate what's going on, because I don't think even Navarrete knows what he's doing half the time, and because it's not usually that. You get an elite fighter, and even though they're elite, they're easy to read. They're going to be super slick, and the timing's going to be good, or they're going to be hard punches, whatever it might be. But Navarrete, he's just all over the place. He would be so awkward to fight, but it is so effective. And I don't know the right style against him would be. I mean, they were talking about maybe going up and fighting Shakur Stevenson. I think that would be a nightmare for him. I think Shakur Stevenson would be that type of fighter that would just time him all night long, and I doubt he'd even land a punch against Shakur Stevenson. But I'm with you. I think he beats Sharky Foster. Who else is there? Jazzy Dickens, I suppose. I mean, they're talking about maybe Rafael Espinoza coming up, or him going up to lightweight. Him and Moritalia would be a really good fight, I think, at lightweight. I'd really like to see that fight. Who else is at the lightweights at the moment? So, Davis, of course, but who knows what's going on with him. And Mason, she'd probably be a good fight as well. But I'm a big fan. I thought the fight yesterday was exciting and good in its own way. I was disappointed in the performance of Nunez just as much as I was impressed by Navarrete. I didn't like the fact for the first 3 rounds he got on his bike and didn't engage. I didn't like that. I thought he gave Navarrete an unnecessary sort of leg up to get him started. And he gave away those first 3 rounds, and then he sort of started to come good in the middle rounds. But by then, Navarrete had sort of found his rhythm, found his range. And then, of course, the eye started to swell up, and Navarrete just got better and better. So I was disappointed in Nunez's performance. I thought he would have done a lot better. I actually picked him to win. I thought his speed and his work rate would be a little bit too much for Navarrete, who hasn't looked great in his last couple of fights. But Navarrete, like you said, with the nutritionist and the training schedule, it just looked like he was refreshed and rejuvenated, and he made easy work of a very, very good fighter.
Look, I just like, I don't even know this, Lyndon, but I actually there was a while where I kept picking against him, right? Because I would look at these fighters, right, and I'd be like, man, this guy, he's got an amateur background. He's got a better jab. He's just more polished. He's got his fundamentals down. Like, this wild Navarrete ain't going to be able to do it. And then Navarrete will win there, just destroy them. Like, he would just annihilate them. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, Ruben Villa, really good amateur. I forget who it was. I think it was Shakur that he maybe I'm mistaken, but I think it was Shakur that he beat in the amateurs, and just really good fighter, right? Like, good fundamentals. Round 1, Navarrete knocks him down like twice, knocks him down like 3 times throughout the whole fight, just dominates him. And I'm like, what is going on here? I thought Valdez was going to knock him out like the first time they fought.
Yeah, I did too.
And he starts like knocking the dude all over the place. And then he would have these performances where he looked out of shape. For a fighter to come in out of shape at the elite level is crazy. But it would come in, at least his body looked like it was like a skinny fat kind of, you know what I mean? And he would come in looking out of shape, looking horrible, but then he would somehow find a way to beat guys. Like, even when he was behind, losing. And then his next fight, I was like, oh, wow, if he was struggling with that guy, what is Valdez going to do to him? And then he would come in, look spectacular, right? So it's been a little up and down. And but I'm going to tell you right now, at 130, I'm never picking against him again, ever. Like, it's not going to happen.
Just
like,
gets the job done, doesn't he?
I picked him this time. I'm like, you know what? He's going to, like, one, he's a winner because, like, even when he's out of shape and is behind on the cards, he finds a way to pull it off, right? And, but there's another thing about him. I can't, when he throws these punches, like, I don't understand like where the leverage is coming from sometimes, and he's hurting these guys. It is just, I don't know if it's coming from angles they just don't see coming or what. And you could visibly see them like shook, right? And it looks like he's just, sometimes they look like arm punches, like they don't look that devastating, but they're obviously getting the job done. And then he'll mix in. He'll all of a sudden decide to throw a 1-2, and all of a sudden he's boxing very orthodox, and then he goes back to unorthodox, and he kind of just does it at a whim. It's like a rabid Wolverine. He doesn't know when he's going to do it himself, and maybe that's what makes him unpredictable. You know?
Yeah, it's like if you try and box him, he's got those really long arms that he can just go with you from long range. And if you get in close, he's got those really sneaky uppercuts and hooks in close. Yeah. And he's a very, very tough guy to fight. He would be a nightmare because he, as I said, he can box with a boxer, he can punch with a puncher. And the thing is, he just throws punches when they really shouldn't be throwing, but he'll throw them and he'll land them. And that's probably why good fighters like Valdez struggle against him, because it just does what should not really be the rule in boxing, and he gets away with it.
I wonder if like I could only imagine some random kid starting boxing and being, oh, Navarrete is my favorite fighter. I'm gonna go to the gym and fight like that. Like a boxing
You couldn't do that,
like,
could
you? No. Any boxing trainer would be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, no, stop immediately. Right? What are you doing? Like, you know, I remember one time, I think it was it might have been Ruben Villa, but like they showed the replay, both his feet are off the canvas.
Jeez,
and he's throwing a sideways uppercut and he landed it. And I think it was Bradley. He was like, I don't know how he got away with that one, but he got away with it. You know, like I've been waiting, Lyndon, for someone to catch him while both his feet are off the canvas. I've been waiting for that. It hasn't happened.
I remember as well, there's another fighter back in the day. I ran Barkley, the Blade. He was pretty similar. He just, like, probably not as awkward as what Navarrete is, but I remember watching him fight. He beat all the best fighters back in the day. Tommy Hearns, obviously, twice, plus others.
Durant beat him, in a
Durant
war,
beat him, but he beat some really, really good fighters back in the day. But he was just a plotter. That's what Navarrete is, a plotter. He just sort of keeps coming and doesn't do anything well at all, but just always finds a way to win, and that's what Navarrete does. So, yeah, and I think it looks like he's really just hit his peak, hasn't he? But the thing about him is his next fight he could look shocking. So it's
right.
It's a fight by fight thing
Like
with him.
he
But
could
he's
just
entertaining.
decide, like he's like, you know what? Do I really need the nutritionist? And he fires him, and then you know, you just never know. But look, there's fighters out there that, like most fighters, cannot get away with coming in and out of shape. Like it's just not. But I will say this: like there was a fight one time. I was just tripping out. I was like, I can't even believe this dude is like, he was looking bored while he's beating the guy up, right? He's just like throwing punches and he's just like, you know, just swinging away and the other guy is like trying and no, but he's just throwing like nothing with chin in the air, like he's got no care. And a couple rounds later, the fight's over. Navarrete wins. I'm just like, how is this guy getting away with this? You know? And there's no way that's going to work against Valdez, right? Like it's just like, but I don't know if he just levels up when he knows he needs to level up, which is probably what it is, right? But one more thing I want to ask you about this is, look, I understand as a fighter, I get it, why Liam Wilson wants his get back. I get it. And we keep it honest. I mean, he did have Navarrete out of there. That was a long count, right? But and I didn't like the mouth guard thing, but I just don't. And Navarrete shows up like that, you know. And I'm a big fan of Liam Wilson. I don't think Liam Wilson could beat him.
Yeah, not if Navarrete comes switched on last time. I don't think he knew anything about Liam, and he got caught. Liam has that big left hook that's knocked out a lot of guys. So I think if they fought again, you would think that Navarrete would know exactly what he's getting into this time and what he's up against, and would probably take care of business. But I think, I don't know, I was just more on what it would take to beat Navarrete. I think the only way I could sort of see someone beat him is just strictly sitting back and just waiting to time him. So don't try and punch with him. Don't try and outbox him. Don't try and get in close and out punch him. Just literally just bit of head movement, sort of both ways, and just wait until he throws one of those unorthodox punches and then just try and time him with a really good shot in return. That's probably all I can see is the best way to fight him, but he's such an awkward guy. And I'd like to see him fight Liam Wilson again. I think Liam's ranked number 3 with the WBO. You'd think he might fight Suarez next, wouldn't you, if he can't get another unification fight? Because if Sharky Foster fights Raymond Ford, as I said, you got Jazzy Dickens with the WBA, but that's really a nothing fight for him apart from the belt. So I would think it would probably be Suarez next, wouldn't it? Or a move up to lightweight. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, in the words of Bert Sugar, a puncher always has a chance, right? So
Yeah.
you can't completely count out Liam Wilson. You know what I mean? If he does, we know he could hurt him. So if he does
Mm,
land that left hook again, you never know what will
yeah.
happen. I would strongly favor Navarrete to win that fight. That's no disrespect to Liam, but
Yeah. And Suarez. I think he beats Suarez next time
yeah,
as well.
but I say no this because I don't think anybody beats him at 130. So
Mm,
it's really no excuse to not make the fight. You know, in that case, you shouldn't
mm,
fight anybody. But
yeah.
I do given what happened in that fight, you could definitely make the argument that Liam, at the very least, and he has fought his way back up the rankings, and like he doesn't deserve it. So I'm
Mm,
not against the fight. And it's not like if it's not like an Oshaki Foster, another title holder, or a very highly ranked guy, that I have no issue with Liam Wilson
mm,
getting his opportunity. Why not? You know, so
yeah.
um, man, I actually thought Lyndon Valdez was going to be that guy that was going to like. Because Valdez was being trained by Reynoso, so he was kind of like the like, just I thought he was going to time him coming in, and
Mm,
it just didn't work. But I think about the issue with Valdez was it was too much, just loading up too much on the punch, right?
mm,
And I think Navarrete was able to see it coming, right? So it has to be a guy that's gonna catch him with a shot that Navarrete does not see coming.
mm.
It'll be interesting to see how he does against someone who really commits to being strictly a counterpuncher.
That's what's going to beat him, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, as I said, I think you've just got to time him. You've got to wait for one of those big, because it's not like he doesn't telegraph the punches. You can see them coming from a mile away, but they're just
Well,
effective. And I'm with you. That's where I thought Valdez would beat him, by being that puncher. But I think what went against Valdez was the Mexican versus Mexican thing as well. He thought he had to go in there and actually steamroll Navarrete, sort of the Mexican sort of mindset.
right.
Where I think if he had a boxed a lot smarter and went for more thinking about the fight a lot more, I think he could have done a lot better. But I think he went out there and tried to outfight Navarrete, which is exactly what he wants. He wants you to come at him. He wants you to stand in front of him, and that's when he's the most effective. So I think it's going to be someone who can just sit back and study what he does. Well, not that you can really study him because he's so unorthodox, but really just time him as he's coming in and make him pay when he exposes himself or telegraphs a punch or whatever it might be. And I think that's the way they're going to beat him. But he's at 130. Good luck with that.
Yeah, like anyone who loves to fight doesn't have issues with Navarrete. So
Yep.
Oshaki is one
Yep.
of those. Oshaki can actually box very well, very
Mm.
good.
Yep.
But like when he went to Mexico, he ended up like in an all-out war, and he won in dramatic fashion in the 12th round. Like it was like a war, right? Like you could lure Oshaki Foster into a fight, and Navarrete is almost a master at luring you into a fight. But I mean, I've been feeling this way for years about Navarrete. Like, oh, someone's going to catch him, like coming in, like it's going to happen, and it hasn't happened. So the closest was Wilson. That's it. That's the closest that's come to happening. And is he going to allow that to happen again? Well, we'll see. So, and Liam Wilson is another guy. He loves a good fight. So
he does, but that's to his detriment sometimes.
Yeah.
He gets sucked in a lot as well, and can get himself caught as well. So, but
like I could see Navarrete just with a simple gesture, like if they get an exchange and nod at him and go like this, and Wilson will probably get fired up and lure him right into it. Like so.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
it just is what it is, man. So great show. You going on live tonight?
Yes, mate. I'll be on. So if anyone is up over there or wants to tune in, of course, the Australian viewers will be on. Tune in at 7:00 Australian Melbourne time. Tune in. It'll be another great night. Lots to talk about.
All righty. All right, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks again, Lyndon.
No worries,
probably
mate.
won't be next week is the Zufa card, so I will not be live next Sunday. But everybody take care and go Jaya Pataya. I'm out. Peace.
So, thanks, mate. Talk to them.
Leaders.